Welcome and hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching News Now, and you have this show lined up for all the top stories that we're tracking this hour, beginning with the big story that's playing out in the United States. Barely a few hours to go before America goes to polls. Democratic contender Kamala Harris is in swing state Pennsylvania to make a final pitch. Meanwhile, former President Republican candidate Donald Trump will be in three battleground states today, holding events in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. In fact, according to latest polls, Trump is favored to win in all swing states, that is Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. In fact, let me also refer to Atlas Intel's latest poll. For instance, it shows that former President Donald Trump is leading the predictions, especially in these 7 swing states that I just mentioned. About 49% of the respondents have said that they would vote for Donald Trump in the upcoming presidential poll. In fact, Harris's pitch, who's also been making these hectic rallies and engaging voters, her pitch involves appealing to the African American community, the Arab Americans, and her messaging is focused around protecting democracy, while Trump's pitch is around immigration, the economy, and ending the war.
On these countries that have been hurting us, they've really been hurting us. It's so ridiculous. They end up closing, everybody loses their job. Then they make it in their country, and then they send it back to us with no tax, no nothing, and we lose it. We lose the company, we lose the jobs, we lose sort of everything, and it's so stupid. And all we have to do is the same thing, but we have a big advantage because we have the pot of gold. See, ours is really the pot of gold. Ours is the one that they want, but we won't have that pot of gold very long because the way these fools are running our country, we're going to be a busted country pretty soon.
The systems that are in place for this election in 2024 have integrity. They are good systems, and the vote of the people will determine the outcome of this election, and everyone must know that their vote is their power to determine the outcome of the election, and their vote will count. It does matter.
All right, so both the candidates making those last-minute pitches in key battleground states. Meanwhile, we caught up with Charu Channa, the global market strategist, head of FX strategy. Saxo Markets, she shares her perspective on the upcoming U.S. polls and what will it imply for the U.S. dollar if the Republicans indeed end up winning the elections as polls suggest. Let's listen into what she had to say.
Until last week, we saw the global markets were really pricing in a Trump trade because the betting markets were heavily tilted in favor of Trump. Now, whether that was because of one or two whales really, putting in a huge amount in favor of a Trump victory, that has obviously been something that the markets have also been considering. But having said that, the markets have been running on with a Trump trade into the last week, higher bond yields, higher US dollar as well. But we have seen a reversal over the weekend a little bit and into the Asian Open this morning as well. And that's particularly because of one of the states, Iowa, which is traditionally a very red-leaning state, that has shown that the polls are really tilting quite significantly in favor of a Harris victory. So this, and we still have 7 swing states to go. This was not even a swing state. So we have a lot of data to come in the next few days. And I think it's going to be a nail-biting week. It does seem like a Republican victory could mean a stronger dollar. You consider, the risks of trade tariffs, that is supportive of a higher dollar. You consider worsening geopolitics potentially, that's positive for a stronger dollar. And just the whole pro-growth, pro-inflation kind of policies, which means that the Fed might have to be a little bit slower on its rate cutting path than previously expected. Again, that's positive for the US dollar as well. But this is a very tactical story. Now, structurally speaking, I know the US could print as much US dollars as it wants to be. But the whole story around, the question around Fed's independence, the question around the US debt, how much debt will they have to issue if they were to consider, those pro-growth policies, those could mean that in the long run, we could see the reserve status of the US dollar being questioned, and that could obviously impact, the strength of the dollar there.
right, so lots of moving pieces so far as the United States election, the presidential polls are concerned. And of course, these polls, the outcome of these polls will have an impact globally. So definitely we'll be bringing you the latest updates starting today. And in fact, this evening as well, we have special shows lined up on other US presidential polls and the impact. Meanwhile,
if you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.